The Blue Jays complete their series sweep over the Yankees, and with that, the Blue Jays are in sole possession of first place in the American League East. Details on every game from around the majors on Thursday, July 3rd. It's MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, and we are underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
And welcome in, everyone. He is Lindsay Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. You can follow Lindsay on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast on Locked On, and you can follow me on the X at Lenox on Baseball. Lindsay, lots to get to. Abbreviated schedule after we had plenty of doubleheaders on Wednesday.
Yep.
The Cubs, once again, adding to the misery of the Guardians. The Marlins able to get back in the win column. I was impressed with that on Thursday. Robbie Ray finished what he started against his former team, and James Wood had a big day for the Nationals in their victory against the Detroit Tigers. We get to that in just a moment. Our latest Locked On MLB Game Night presented by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. Lindsay, we're going to get into the Yankees and Blue Jays first from Toronto Thursday night. We're going to hear from Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees in just a moment. But on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you on the Blue Jays completing this 4-game series sweep and standing atop the AL East standings?
Probably a 7 or an 8. I mean, I'm happy for Toronto fans. This looked like it could have been a lost season 3 weeks in. And I'm happy that they've battled. It also tells you I have no idea what's going to happen with the AL East. The Yankees looked like the best team in baseball for the first month. And now Toronto is on top, and Baltimore is surging a little bit. Tampa Bay is doing great. It's the hardest division in baseball, it feels like.
Since Garrett Cole, and we found out that he was going to be out for the season, I sort of took the shine off the Yankees for me in this division. I said, this is a winnable division for the other clubs. I mean, you didn't think the Orioles were going to get off to the start that they did, but right now the Yankees are dealing with a lot of different issues on both sides, with the pitching, with the defense, and even with the offense as well. We're going to get into some of those numbers, but let's hear from Locked On Yankees host Brian McKeon. Not a good 4 days in Toronto, and yet again, they may be dealing with another pitching injury as well.
If you've heard this one this week already, the Yankees lose again. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees, and it's another loss in Toronto, a 4-0 series sweep as they head back to Queens to face the Mets in the Subway Series. It's problems all around. We don't know what's going on with Clark Schmidt yet, but it doesn't look promising. Plus, Anthony Volpe still continues to leave runners on base. We'll be discussing all of it throughout the week with Locked On Yankees, plus we'll be covering the Subway Series after the weekend. Be there.
Clark Schmidt, 3 innings removed from the game with right forearm tightness. That is never a good thing. I would say best case scenario, he's out until at least the middle of August.
I think at best. Yeah, this is something where it doesn't matter if it's a flexor, a UCL, the ulnar nerve, whatever. The first thing they're going to do is shut him down for a month. And since he is a starter, after that, you then have to get him back into form. And so best case scenario, you're looking at, to your point, 6-7 weeks. And it feels like it's going to be maybe a little bit longer than that. It's not the nail in the coffin, right? Clark Schmidt was not carrying that rotation, but it's just another thing going wrong for the New York Yankees in a season where plenty of things have gone wrong already.
And this is a stretch for the Blue Jays, Lindsay. They've won 5 in a row, 7 of 8, but they've won 23 games over their last 33. George Springer, 3 hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs in the finale. Aaron Judge, 1 for 2, a couple of walks. This is him for the series. 6 for 10, 2 doubles, a home run, 3 RBIs. He walked 8 times. I feel like even though he got his hits, got some runs batted in, Toronto had a plan, and they didn't care who hit behind him. They weren't going to let Aaron Judge completely dominate the series. But again, the numbers say he had a real good series.
Yeah, I mean, the plan with that Yankees lineup right now, they moved Grisham to lead off. I believe he had another home run today, his 16th. But there's just not enough consistency in the lineup. They put Bellinger behind Judge. He goes 2 for 5 with a run scored. But the RBIs come from Volpe down towards the bottom of the lineup. And that's just, they're not, even when Judge is getting on, guys behind him aren't driving him in. It's a lot of singles and things like that. And that's the problem right now for the Yankees is they can't get, Judge is their power. Grisham again had this solo shot. But outside of that, they just can't really get much going. They can't string together 3, 4, 5 hits at a time to bring in multiple runs.
Brian mentioned it. Yankees do go back to New York. They'll be in Queens at Citi Field for 3 against the Mets over the weekend. Blue Jays home this weekend in Toronto against the Angels. They wrap up before the All-Star break. 6-game road trip, but it's in Chicago against the White Sox for 3, and then 3 in West Sacramento against the Athletics. So they have the ability right now to maybe add to this lead, but certainly stay right there and have teams chasing them in that division.
I mean, it's 2 winnable series. My question is, though, for you, who needs a win in the weekend more, the Yankees or the Mets? Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
No, it's not. Because, I mean, even, the Mets went into Pittsburgh last weekend and got swept by the Pirates. And before that, I had said, they're not out of the woods yet. They take the series. We'll get into Brewers Mets in segment number 2, but they're not out of the woods. It might just be the Yankees because their struggles go beyond they're almost into a third, almost into a full month where they've been scuffling.
Yeah, I mean they're 3-7 in the last 10, but they've lost. They lost all 4 here. They've got to get right. The big thing for me, they're in danger of falling to 500 against teams who are 500 or better. Like that's one of the big things I always look at is how competitive are you against the best teams in baseball? They are 1 game over 500 against the best teams in baseball, which tells you they've been beaten up on some weak teams a little bit, and now they're facing good teams and they can't hang. So we'll see what happens.
We now move on to the Cubs and Guardians at Wrigley Field on Thursday. Cubs were looking for the series sweep against the Guardians. They're trying to add to their misery, and they did just that. For the details on this one, we hear from Sam Olber, Locked on Cubs.
Couldn't take a video at Wrigley. I really wanted to, but it was loud. I didn't have any connection. My phone was kind of dying. But here I am now, home from Wrigley after a Cubs 1-0 walk-off win. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked on Cubs podcast. Matt Shaw walked it off in the bottom of the 9th. He had a pretty good day today. Was so happy for him. I mean, he's been through a lot, offensively. So to see him come up with that big hit off a guy like Emmanuel Clase was really good to see. Cade Horton was dominating for a lot of the game against a weak Cleveland lineup. The lefty struggles continue. Cleveland ran out lefty after lefty. Cubs couldn't hit it, and you could imagine I was talking about it. The Wrigley atmosphere was incredible. I know day games are the classic, man, but there's nothing like a night game at Wrigley when the Cubs are competing and playing like this. Awesome sweep of Cleveland, and now a quick turnaround on Friday. Welcome in the Cardinals. Cubs back up to a 4-game lead in the Central. They could really get going now.
And right there, Sam talks about the great atmosphere at Wrigley Field. They'll add to that this weekend, hosting the Cardinals. They take 2 out of 3. They'll create a little bit more distance between them and St. Louis. That's always a positive if you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah, they have 5.5-game lead on Chicago right now. But the bigger thing is the Cardinals are tied with a couple other teams for the final wildcard spot. And so this game, the Cubs want to extend their lead, but this matters to the Cardinals a lot too, because they want to finish up the stretch between now and the All-Star break with some wins. The Cardinals have this. They got to face the Braves still. A lot of interesting series coming up for St. Louis. So happy for Cade Horton that he had a great game. But big test this weekend for both teams.
Gave up 5 hits, all singles, took a no decision, but right there, scoreless baseball over 7. You'll take that from the rookie. The Cubs 17 over 500 with Thursday's victory against the Guardians, and that matches their high watermark for the season. Now, the Guardians on the other side, they've now dropped 7 in a row. And they've got some issues with their team and Luis Ortiz as well. Justin Latta, Locked on Guardians, has the details on the loss in the series finale, as well as an issue that could perhaps be big for this team for not only the remainder of this season, but well into the future.
I've been saying it's been too much like Groundhog's Day for the Cleveland Guardians, but Thursday was not, even though their offense continued to act like it. This is Justin Latta from Locked on Guardians. The Guardians offense did have another Groundhog's Day where they didn't score a run, They got shut out. They lost. But the big story of the day was Luis Ortiz, who is on non-disciplinary paid leave because he is being investigated by Major League Baseball. The Guardians of Major League Baseball have not said why he's being investigated. The rumors and the reporting coming out from legitimate sources are saying it's related to gambling. So there's that. That's the story of the day for the Guardians. How they lost, because we've seen this before. They lose 1-0. They can't score. But the big story of the day is Luis Ortiz. And if this goes down, he could be banned for life. At the very least, he's not pitching again this season, more than likely. That doesn't matter because the Guardians aren't going anywhere this year anyway. But Ortiz was at least having a nice season and looked like he's like a building block. And now he's either done for the season or his career could be over. Joey Cantillo came and pitched a good game for the Guardians on less than 24 hours notice. It wasn't all the way stretched out, so they had to go to the bullpen. It was good days for Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Emmanuel Clase, guys they need to be better. Eric Sabrowski was good. The bullpen got back in order, and Cantillo did good. The offense just not enough, and here we are. More on Locked On Guardians and the impact of Luis Ortiz's potential loss and how we want the Guardians to finish 2025. Tune in.
Cut him off there, but sticking with the baseball side, they've lost 7 in a row now. Fourth time they've been shut out during this current losing streak. Jose Ramirez, Emmanuel Clase, do you make phone calls on those guys if you're other teams around baseball?
If I'm other teams, I'm trying to get either one of those guys. I don't think Ramirez gets moved. He's the face of the franchise. They just signed him to that big deal. Clase, I could see Clase moving on and being traded to a team that's desperate for a great reliever. But Ramirez, I keep him. If I'm another team, I call though. I'm like, hey, you're 7-18 in your last 25 games. It is done. Let me get your third baseman. The Yankees would love to have him. The Dodgers probably could use a guy like him, given the Max Muncy injury. There's half a dozen teams who would chomp at the bit to get Jose Ramirez.
It's interesting because I feel like Jose Ramirez is so loyal to the Guardians organization. If he said, hey, it's time for me to go, I think they would.
They'd do it.
Yeah, they do reluctantly do it, but understand his side of it as well. We've got Twins and Marlins in our first segment, Lindsay. The reason I put it here, and it's on our rundown of nice response. Marlins had their 8-game win streak snapped on Wednesday. They come right back and win on Thursday as they win the series from Minnesota. Our guy, Jeremy Geiger, has the details, and one certain starting pitcher for the Marlins certainly opening up some eyes.
Perez dominates the Twins, and the Marlins have won 4 consecutive series. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. If there was any doubt about Yuri coming off of Tommy John surgery, this was his get-right game. He went 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk of shutout baseball, and struck out 7. He was phenomenal. The fastball was humming, sitting at 98 miles an hour with a ton of movement. I mean, Yuri Perez is back, folks. Augustin Ramirez homered in this one. His Stantonian power showed in the first inning with a big 2-run jack. And the Marlins take 2 out of 3 from Minnesota. They win this one by a score of 4-1. And now it's still at home to take on the Brewers this 4th of July weekend.
I cut him off again there.
Completely empty house. Completely empty house for that video.
He said he recently moved in.
Okay, so there you go. He probably is actually in a completely empty house. I was making a joke there. Okay, cool.
Yep. He recently moved in. I'm enamored with this Marlins team right now. I think I'm putting them at the top of my list. I don't know that they ever get to 500. But again, they're going to be a thorn in the side of a lot of clubs, and they're just right now before our eyes. They're learning how to win at the big league level.
I mean, they have allowed the fourth most runs in the entire National League. So it's not like they've just been getting wins recently, right? Like they've absolutely been able to win close games. They've been able to get clutch hits. Yuri Perez, the baby goat, shoved today. I mean, it's exciting to think about they could be on the upswing, but like you, I'm questioning how much can they do this year. Because that pitching staff is still, it's Yuri, it's Sandy, and then it's you and me and somebody watching the show live. Like that's who the rotation is right now. Ryan Weathers.
Pray for rain in Miami, and you got pray for rain in Miami, and you got a roof.
It's like in the dome. Yeah, exactly. You can't do Perez and Alcantara and pray for rain.
So the Twins, 34-27 with a road win against the Athletics on June 4th, 7-19 since. And the rest of that AL Central is just going south as the Tigers just continue to build that lead in the division. Lost on Thursday, but again, they're just kind of on cruise control right now. Are they able to do that?
What blows my mind about the Central when I look at this is like the Tigers feel like they're going to win this by 20 games. Everybody in the division has a losing record in the last 2 weeks, but the Tigers. Twins are 4-6. Guardians are 2-8. Royals won tonight. They're 3-7. White Sox are 4-6. Like, we went from 3 playoff teams in this division last year to you are going to have 1 and that's it. But the Tigers look like the best team in baseball. So who knows?
All right, we're long here in segment number 1, but let's close with the Dodgers. They complete their series sweep over the White Sox at Dodger Stadium. 7th sweep of the season for LA. 6-2 the final. The big one for me in this one, Dustin May. Worked into the 8th inning. If he can give them quality outings going forward from now, just say to Labor Day and then go from there. It's going to be huge for this rotation. Going to be huge for the Dodgers.
And 82 pitches when they pulled him. It's not like he was at 110 and was laboring. Like, this was complete game territory that he was in. They obviously didn't do it. Smart to not do it. He comes off of injury. He's still coming back from that injury. But they needed this. Tyler Glasnow's on rehab right now. Like, they could be getting their pitchers back for the back half of the schedule. You know, they have the best.
It's really scary.
They have like the best record in the National League, and they're about to, they just got Dustin May doing this, and they're about to add Tyler Glasnow again.
Yeah, not a quiet 15-3 over their last 18, but with Thursday's win now, a season high 24 over 500. Michael Conforto, Mookie Betts, both homering. Freddie Freeman, a couple of doubles, 3 runs batted in. According to reports, Colson Montgomery, one of the top prospects in the White Sox organization, is going to be called up. He's going to make his major league debut this weekend. A veteran, Robbie Ray, going the distance against his former team. We're going to have details of that next. It's MLB Game Night.
Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize, wait, the Toronto Blue Jays can take first place in the East if they sweep the Yankees. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible because Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, Giants and Diamondbacks wrapping up their series in the desert on Thursday. Diamondbacks were looking for a series victory. Giants were looking for a split. Robbie Ray went the distance with his second career complete game effort. We'll have details on the other side, but we hear from Ben Kaspick. He's got a lot on Robbie Ray, and he's got a tip of the cap as well.
Farhan Zaidi cooked with the Robbie Ray trade. This is Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. Robbie Ray goes out there tonight, complete game, 9 innings, 2 runs, 2 solo homers. He faced just 4 over the minimum, was super efficient. And man, the Giants got Robbie Ray in exchange for Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani, 2 guys who are just non-factors at this point. And Robbie Ray's out here having, maybe not quite a Cy Young caliber season, but just an excellent season for the Giants, keeping them in this race along with Logan Webb as the offense has sputtered. But the last couple of days, they've picked it up and they managed to split this series after 2 very difficult losses in the first 2 games of the series, and previously going into Chicago to play the White Sox and losing 2 out of 3. So this was a huge game. And the Giants offense showed up. Robbie Ray threw a complete game against his longtime team, the Diamondbacks. First time pitching against them at Chase Field. and he throws a shutout. And just a huge win, a huge night for Ray. He deserves to be an all-star, and incredible. I tip my hat, and what a heist was that trade. Oh my God. We'll break it all down tomorrow on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
So as Ben mentioned, Robbie Ray, former Diamondback pitcher, his first and only complete game prior to Thursday with the Diamondbacks back in 2017. He mentioned he should be an all-star this year. That's his one lone all-star appearance, 2017, with the D-backs.
Yeah, it feels like he needs another one. Although it turned like he got an all-star nod. He had a complete game that year, complete game this year. That means the way this works, he's going to be an all-star. That's just prior history. He throws a complete game. He's an all-star that season. So we'll see what happens.
Gives up 2 home runs, but they're to Eugenio Suarez and Ketel Marte. I guess if you're going to give up home runs to that lineup, it's to those 2 guys, right?
And they're both solo shots. That's the big thing. So,
Yes.
yeah, you gave them up, but it didn't hurt you that bad. What did hurt, I did notice this, bottom of that lineup, Dom Smith, Tyler Fitzgerald, and Wisely, 0 for 12 with 8 strikeouts. First base has been a nightmare position for the Giants, and it feels like if they're going to upgrade on offense, that's the place they're going to do it. But Bryce Eldridge is out for their top prospect at first base, is out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring strain. So, I don't know where they find first base unless they make a trade.
Yeah, I think it was Casey Stengel to quote, if you have 4 first basemen, that means you don't have a first baseman. And that seems to be the case with the Giants. And the Red Sox have been there for the last year plus as well. And Don Smith was in the mix last year, and he's with the Giants now. Brewers Mets wrapping up their series at Citi Field. We're going to hear from Ryan Finkelstein here as the Mets, again, I'm not convinced they're back on track, but maybe, just maybe, winning this series, they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, this is David Peterson kind of had a rebound game here. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned. Did walk 3, but it was a solo shot that kind of was that final run there. Juan Soto continues his hot June into July. They need to get hot here with Miami surging, with Atlanta slumping. New York needs to make sure they stay behind Philly. That's a tough wild card race. And if they can't get back into first place, they're going to have to earn a wild card. And as of right now, in the National League, they have 3 games between them and being out of the postseason for the wild card. 3 games.
Yeah. And it wasn't that way a few weeks ago when they were actually leading the division. And, hey, we don't have to worry about the wild card. But, yeah,
exactly.
Right now we do. Ryan Finkelstein, how long has it been since the Mets actually won a series?
For the first time in exactly 3 weeks, the New York Mets have won a series. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, and we saw a great pitching performance out of this Mets team on Thursday. It all began with David Peterson, who finally gave the Mets some length out of a starting pitcher, goes 6 2/3, shook off a couple of rough starts prior to this, really had everything working, was keeping the ball on the ground, doing his thing, and keeping the ball in the yard until the 7th inning when he gave up a solo home run. But really, that was it. That was the only earned run that he allowed. Gave up 2 runs overall as Brett Beatty made an error early on in the game that did result in a run. But the Mets able to score 3 runs off of Jose Quintana, and they had just enough offense as the bullpen locked down a 3-2 win. Ryan Stanek, absolute lights out, got 4 outs, struck out the side in the 8th inning. Edwin Diaz, with the help of a outstanding caught stealing by Luis Torrens and Francisco Lindor, able to notch the save, and the Mets have finally won a series again. Hopefully, they can build off this. I'll be talking about that and more. A lot of injuries I'll be discussing on tomorrow's edition of Locked On Mets.
Yeah, and again, the series coming up at Citi Field against the Yankees. There was a play. Christian Yelich had a 1-out single in the 9th inning. Had a stolen base, was ruled safe at second base. They went to the replay, overturned, and then Edwin Diaz came back and made quick work of the next hitter. 2 strikeouts in the inning, and the game was over. He picks up another save, and he's a guy that you want to talk about him when it's not going well, but it's been going well for him. So it's almost like Edwin Diaz, the quiet closer for the Mets.
It feels like he's either one of the 3 best closers in baseball or he's having a nightmare season. And there's no middle ground for Edwin Diaz. It's one or the other. And I'm glad for him that he's back to form. Getting hurt with the WBC was unfortunate. It took him a while to come back. but they need that because even their most reliable guys, Reed Garrett's had some blowups recently. Like they need that reliability in the back end of the pen because they don't have it from anybody else in the arm barn right now.
All right, final game that we're going to cover here in segment number 2, Angels Braves.
Do we have to?
Yeah, let's get your perspective before we hear from our guy John Frisch, Locked On Angels, as the Braves don't win this one, and the Angels take it 5-1. They take 2 out of 3 in Atlanta.
The Braves just couldn't figure out Jose Soriano. I mean, 7 innings, 3 hits. He walked 2, but 7 strikeouts. Atlanta never got a runner to second base other than a solo shot in the 9th. Just this Atlanta offense, the same one that put up a 7-run inning on them yesterday, just could not get anything done. Bryce Elder was okay enough to keep you in the game. 5 innings, 4 runs. He gave up 2 homers in this one, but Atlanta only had 5 hits. 4 of them were singles. They never got a runner to second base. That was the game. I mean, it didn't matter if Elder threw, threw a 1-run thing. It wasn't going to happen. When you play like that on offense, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter what your pitcher does.
Angels right now are like Forrest Gump going to the White House again. John Frisch tells us the Angels with a win against the Braves on Thursday, back to 500 again.
The Angels take the series in Atlanta against the Braves 5-1 with the victory on Thursday night. And like a bad X, they keep returning to 500, this time in the right direction. What's going on, everybody? John Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels and one of your hosts of MLB Game Night. The Angels get back to 500 after falling 1 game below on Tuesday against the Braves. They just keep going back to 500. They can't break through. In this one, Zach Neto was a triple shy of the cycle, unfortunately. Taylor Ward got a triple, so maybe he stole it from Zach Neto. Joe Adell, his incredible hit streak continues in 14 games. This 14-game hit streak he's on, 364 average, 435 on base, 679 slugging, a 1,108 OPS, and 5 home runs. We're going to have all the details on Locked On Angels, and we hope you'll join us.
And the Angels are going to be on their way to Toronto for a series this weekend against the Blue Jays. And then they're home for the final, 7. They've got 4 against the Rangers, 3 against Arizona prior to the All-Star break. The Braves, as you know, Lindsay, 3 home this weekend against the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, and then they go to Sacramento and then to St. Louis before they come home for their own All-Star game. The Angels are in a good place here, right? The Rangers have struggled immensely on offense this year. Arizona, the pitching's not there because of injuries and ineffectiveness. I mean, the Angels you can see a path where they could finally get above 500 and hold it for more than a day. The Braves, on the flip side, they never play well when they go out west. They're going to get the Charlie Morton revenge game tomorrow when he comes back to Atlanta on the mound. And then they've got to go to the Cardinals, who are looking pretty good. This could be the final nail in the coffin of Atlanta's chances in 2025 between now and the All-Star break. We'll find out next week.
As we touched on here in segment number 2, Robbie Ray of the Giants going the distance. Maybe the best pitching performance from a starting pitcher on Thursday. James Wood from the Nationals, 5 hits and the Nats victory against the Detroit Tigers. We'll have details next. It's MLB Game Night.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com.
That's segment number 3. We've got 3 games to go, and we've got about a little over 3 minutes, let's call it. Royals absolutely hold on against the Mariners, win 3-2, split the 4-game series in Seattle. Mariners, a run in the 9th inning against Carlos Estevez. Wild pitch, putting runners at second and third with one down. Estevez strikes out Julio Rodriguez. They go against Cal Raleigh. They don't put him on to face Arandio Rosarena with 4 home runs in the series. Raleigh grounds out, ball game over. Estevez, bent in the 9th inning, did not break, picks up his 24th save on the season. A feel good for the Royals as they leave Seattle with a 4-game split.
My 2 thoughts here was, one, Bobby Witt Jr.'s slide in the 7th was fantastic.
Ooh.
He got the ball beat him to the plate by 5 or 6 feet, and he just swims around the tag. And then Julio Rodriguez, you cannot take that pitch with a runner in scoring position in the 9th inning. He thought he walked. He did not. He struck out looking. It probably a little inside. You can't take that. You have to swing.
Mariners as a team 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left runners at second and third in the 9th inning against Estevez. Tigers 3 in the first inning, Nationals 5 in the bottom of the first inning. Nationals 15 hits total, 11-7 as they split 2 on Wednesday, and the Nats take the finale. James Wood 5 for 5, 23rd home run of the season, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Home run in the second to put the Nats up 6-3. RBI base hit in the 4th. That put them up 7-3. We talked about the Marlins earlier and what they could be. The Marlins don't right now, for me, have a James Wood.
No.
And that's why I think the Marlins could also. I mean, they're still 13 under 500. But again, this is a team that's learning on the fly on how to win at the big league level.
The Nationals, you can see where they're getting the pieces. James Wood is that foundational piece.
Yeah.
What a great trade to get him, by the way. All the guys they got from that Juan Soto deal. But other than Ronald Acuna Jr. in his home ballpark, there is nobody else I'm more excited to watch in the home run derby, all due respect to Cal Raleigh, than James Wood. Because it just feels like he's going to put one in the battery outside of the ballpark in this game. It feels like it. It's coming.
Wrap it up for us. Astros Rockies at Coors Field.
Yep, Rockies hold on to win this one 7-6. Their 20th win of the season, the day before July 4th. They are 9-34 at Coors Field. But Thairo Estrada missed the start of the year with injury. He came back finally, 3 hits, 4 RBI, has a 2-run homer in the 1st, RBI single in the 7th. Astros did score a run in the 9th to make it close. Runners on 1st and 2nd, but Seth Halvorsen got a fly out to right to end the game. He's going to be a trade target at the deadline because he's looked pretty good. Cam Smith continues to be awesome. 3 hits, a double, a triple, 3 RBI. If the Cubs don't re-sign Kyle Tucker, they could look back on this trade and say, this is our penance for getting Pete Crow Armstrong from the Mets, because we got Kyle Tucker and we gave up what could be a great player in Cam Smith.
I don't do this, and I'm emphatic about it. I don't ask what's on the menu at Thanksgiving, but I do it for the July 4th holiday. What's on Lindsay's menu for Independence Day?
We have tacos every year. We go to tacos.
Really?
It's unconventional, but listen.
It's all right.
What is more American than appropriating somebody else's culture as your own? We go have tacos every July 4th. It's a family tradition. It's been 12 years of it at this point. My family loves it. The whole extended family goes with us.
Outstanding. Enjoy
What do you
it.
got?
We got a little seafood going, and I may send you a picture.
Please do. I'm excited.
All right. MLB Game Night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. For Lindsay, Crosby, I'm Steve Lenox. Happy 4th of July, everybody. It goes without saying, be safe with your friends and your family as you celebrate Independence Day. MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.